It's 3 a.m. Bruce Wayne is asleep, face down, dead to the world, doing absolutely nothing. And in the 8 seconds you've been watching this, he's made $112. Batman earns $14 a second, sleeping, showering, falling off a building. It doesn't stop, which is strange when you look at what he spends it on. The car costs millions. The suit costs millions. There's a cave under his house with a supercomputer in it. Being Batman should have bankrupted him 30 years ago. It hasn't. He's never been close. That's the real mystery here. Not the money he makes. The money that should have killed him and somehow didn't. Start with where it comes from, because he's unconscious and still earning. None of it is Batman money. Nobody pays Batman. It's Wayne Enterprises. And people underestimate what that actually is. It isn't a company, it's a conglomerate. Aerospace, shipping, chemicals, biotech, medical research, construction. Half of Gotham has a Wayne logo on it somewhere, and the half that doesn't is probably leasing from them. Forbes put its revenue at around $25 billion a year. Bruce inherited a controlling stake in it when he was 8 years old, on the worst night of his life. So the cape didn't make him rich. The money came first. He isn't rich because he's Batman. He's Batman because he's rich. Now, here's a detail almost nobody thinks about. Bruce Wayne doesn't really have a salary. He sits on the board, he turns up to things, he owns an enormous slice of the company, but the money doesn't reach him as wages. It reaches him as dividends and share growth. And that matters more than it sounds, because in almost every country on Earth, including this one, money that arrives as investment income gets taxed more gently than money you earn from working, which means Bruce Wayne almost certainly pays a lower tax rate on $400 million than you pay on 30 grand. That's not a Gotham thing, that's just how it works. Right. Let's do the actual maths, because most people stop in the wrong place. They stop at his net worth. $7.5 billion. Big number. But net worth is a pile. It's what he's sitting on, not what's coming in. And nobody leaves $7 billion under a mattress. It's in shares, property, bonds, the boring things that quietly print money. Call it 6% a year. That's not aggressive. The stock market's done better than that over most long stretches. 6% of $7.5 billion is $450 million a year. Hold on to that number, it's the one that matters later. Split it across the 31.5 million seconds in a year, and you get $14 a second. So it's real. He earns it in his sleep because the money doesn't know he's asleep. Although, some perspective, £14 a second sounds obscene right up until you put it next to the people at the top of the real rich list, who in a good year have been estimated at thousands of dollars a second, which is genuinely strange to sit with. The richest man in Gotham, the one with the jet and the cave and the private army of gadgets, would be a rounding error next to the actual billionaires walking around today. Batman is rich. Batman is not tech founder rich. Anyway, back to the $14, because it does something fairly grim to a normal night's sleep. 8 hours. 28,000 seconds, $400,000 while unconscious. He earns your annual salary before his coffee goes cold, roughly 40 minutes. You start work at 9. By 9:30, he's beaten your entire year, from bed. So, he's untouchable, except he isn't because of what he does with it. Some economists actually costed out becoming Batman properly, over $500 million. The Batmobile. Armored, jet-powered and rebuilt every time he drives it through a wall, which is often the cave. You're excavating under a mansion, wiring it, cooling a supercomputer down there and hiding the entire project from every contractor in Gotham, which, by the way, is its own cost. Silence is expensive. The suit, bespoke armor, a few million ago, and he gets through them like trainers. Then the grapple guns, the batarangs, the plane, the boat, the other plane, and staff. People forget staff. Batman has precisely one employee, and Alfred is not on minimum wage. A live-in butler running an estate that size, in the real world, is comfortably 6 figures a year before you factor in that he's also a field medic, a mechanic, and an accomplice. Then there's the thing you cannot buy at any price: insurance. No underwriter alive is covering an unregistered jet-powered tank driven by a man in a mask. So every single crash, every wrecked gadget, every hole in the roof comes out of his own pocket at full price. And that's just the setup. The yearly bill is the interesting part, because none of it earns anything back. He isn't invoicing the Joker, there's no call-out fee, nobody at Gotham City Council is settling the damage. Fuel, repairs, replacing everything he smashes, upgrading it all so the criminals can't catch up, and Alfred's wages, roughly $2 million a year, forever. As a business, Batman has never made a penny and never will. It's a money pit with a cape. So how has it not bankrupted him? Here's that $450 million again. Batman costs him $2 million a year. Bruce earns $450. The most expensive hobby on earth runs at less than 0.5% of his income. For a man on $14 a second, funding Batman costs him roughly what a coffee costs you. Stretch it out. 40 years in the Cape, at $450 million a year, $18 billion. Earned while he sleeps, bleeds, and falls off things. He could do this for 1,000 years and not notice. But here's the part that actually stings, and it's the bit nobody does. That $500 million he spent building all this. What if he hadn't? What if the cave and the car and the suits had just gone into the same boring investments as the rest of it? $500 million, left alone at 6% for 30 years, becomes about $2.9 billion. So being Batman hasn't cost him $2 million a year. It's quietly cost him nearly $3 billion in money that never got the chance to grow. He'll never see that number. It doesn't appear on any statement. It's just the fortune that would have existed if he'd stayed in bed. Which raises the question the internet has been arguing about for 20 years. Could he have fixed Gotham with the money instead? $2 million a year on gadgets against $2 million a year into schools, housing, hospitals, jobs. 30 years of it. Compounded. You can make a very good case that Bruce Wayne's checkbook could have done more for Gotham than Batman ever did. You can also make a very good case that it wouldn't have touched the Joker. I'll leave that one with you. Because here's the answer to the thing I started with. Batman was never the business. The business was already running. His real superpower isn't the training or the gadgets, it's that his money doesn't sleep when he does. While he's out there getting hit in the face, the fortune is working, every second, quietly, in the dark. The world's greatest detective, kept afloat by compound interest, which is the whole thing really. He doesn't fight crime because he's rich. He fights crime because the money keeps working whether he turns up or not. Look at the counter. In the roughly the time you've been here, Bruce Wayne made approximately $7,140. You made whatever you made.